Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Planet Council. So today we are taking a look at both episode 3 and episode 4 of The Bad Batch, just because last week I was working a lot and I wasn't feeling very good. And the episode was kind of a lighter episode, so we just decided to wait a week and double up to give us a little more meat on the bones to talk about. And we'll talk about if we got more meat on the bones to talk about or not. So yeah, let's dive right. Oh, I should say, welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
And I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell.
There you go. I forgot that part. Um, yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So we have episode 3. Was titled. What was episode 3 titled?
It was titled Replacements.
Replacements. That's right. Yeah, we got some nice crosshair stuff going on in that. Some
Yeah.
cold crosshair in that. So what were your thoughts on episode 3 as a whole?
Um, Now it's actually just coming back to me. I thought episode 3 was dark in some spots. This is full spoilers, by the way. So if you haven't seen these
Yes.
episodes, go watch them and then come right back.
Mm-hmm.
So when Crosshair sent on the mission with the 3 stormtroopers, are they called something else, or are they stormtroopers?
I think they're just called troopers right now.
Troopers, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
But in
and
essence, yeah.
they're kind of sent to hunt down Saw Gerrera and his crew on that one planet that we saw them on earlier in the show.
Onderon.
And they get there and they're ready to take the shot, and the one guy, like the lead of them, is like, oh,
The lead that's not Crosshair.
The lead that's not Crosshair is like, oh, they're just civilians, and then they go down there and they're looking for Saw Gerrera. He's not there, and they're like, okay, let's leave. And Crosshair's like, no, we have to kill them. Like, those are our orders to like wipe out like their everyone. And the other guy is like, no, like they're just really just civilians. Like they're just like trying to like kind of they're kind of on the run, but they're not like doing anything illegal really. Like from what we can see.
Yeah.
And Crosshair's like, fuck, like. Fine, like if you're not gonna listen to me, and then he just literally like guns that guy down, and then he orders the other troopers to basically line up a firing squad and kill the rest of the civilians. It was really dark.
And that's when we get the great line of, again, that we've heard before from a bunch of different clones, but in Crosshair's voice of good soldiers follow orders. And then he just fucking smokes the guy.
Yeah. In this episode, we also get like a little bit of Wrecker possibly having some chip problems.
Mm-hmm. Not the Dorito kind.
This is the one, right? Or is it episode 2?
No, yeah, that's
this
the one.
Okay.
Yeah, episode 3.
Where he's like just constantly complaining about his head.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the Bad Batch, we had them like on just this other planet that kind of looks similar to when in episode 5, when Han and Leia and them were like stuck inside that like monster on that planet. And they had to fly out of its mouth. It kind of looks similar. They kind of have similar monsters as well. The ones that like stick to the what's it called?
The ship.
Yeah. And then obviously they lose some part of their ship that is giving off this energy that this one animal is attracted to, and they kind of have to hunt down the animal and get the energy, get the thing back. It kind of like a mission of the week type episode. But yeah, I enjoyed it for some of its moments. I definitely didn't think it was the strongest episode, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, so for me, like we talked, while we were getting everything booted up to record the show, the word filler was mentioned. I won't say by who. But no, but the word filler was mentioned, and I we'll get your thoughts on this, because I tend to, for certain shows, there's definitely filler. Like for me, we'll talk about it. We're actually gonna, I'm actually gonna have a segment talking about this on Tuesday, on Planet Film Live. But the Flash show is a show that I've loved for many years. But I I have a personal update with the Flash show that I'm going to talk about on Tuesday. That show to me has genuine filler, has genuine
Mm.
episodes where things happen. It's like villain of the week type stuff. And maybe you get one line of dialogue that builds on the season's plot.
Right.
Um, but nothing really of consequence happens. And for the exception of the one single episode of season 7 of the Clone Wars, I feel like Dave Filoni does not do filler. With that one exception of that one
Mm-hmm.
episode in the middle arc of season 7. Don't know what happened there. It was a four. I think it was just as simple as I genuinely probably, if I had to guess, uh, that was originally a 3 episode arc. Disney wanted the season to be exactly 12 weeks,
Yeah.
so he probably had to pad it out. That's my
Mm-hmm.
guess, because it was very rare in Clone Wars to get 4 episode arcs, and all 3 arcs in season 7 were 4 episodes. So I'm guessing there was a little bit of padding going on. So I'm not gonna hold that against Filoni, is what I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
say, because for the most part, when Dave Filoni's doing a show, he doesn't do filler. He does like
Right.
he makes sure every episode either compounds on the last one, or in the Clone Wars situation, there really was no chance to do filler because in Clone Wars there technically wasn't a overarching story. You know what I mean? It was done in the arc style, so it was over and over. And then something like Rebels, there's almost no filler in that. There are lighter episodes where lighter things happen in season 1 and season 2, and then as soon as you hit season 3 and season 4, you're off to the races. There's no filler, like almost no
Mm-hmm.
fat in that thing. Um Sorry, I'm still a little sick.
You're good.
um but I think this is as close as you could get to filler without me still considering it to
Yeah.
be filler. Only because you do get the great moments with Crosshair that develops that storyline. You get
Mm-hmm.
him going back to what used to be the Bad Batch's barracks on Camino. It's all like redone and kind of Empire washed now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I thought those were great moments, kind of a look into Crosshair's mind a little bit. Um, as well as just you get more of, I think, something that everybody's kind of glomming onto with this show is, which I think Star Wars fans for decades now, since 2005, have wanted, is the transition from clones to the stormtroopers, from the
Stormtroopers.
Republic
Yeah.
to the Empire. We wanted a boots on the ground view of how that transition actually affected the military, the government, and
Mm-hmm.
the individual people. Um, and I think we're finally getting that in in both this episode and the next episode that we'll talk about as well, episode 4. Um, yeah, so to me, I think it was a lighter episode, but I still think that it built upon what came before in a satisfying way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
The
Wrecker
other,
stuff, we'll see where that goes.
yeah.
But I thought that was very interesting too.
The other little piece that I liked was the whole Omega like not having like a room, and then at the end
Yeah.
of it, like Wrecker like sets her
Hmm.
up with like a little space. Like it looks like it's kind of just like where you would hold things, maybe
Yeah.
like to storage, but it's better than nothing. So I thought that was really nice. And then obviously you again have a little bit of development between Omega and Hunter's relationship.
Yeah.
Um, with her
Hmm.
kind of he tells her to stay, and then she goes anyway, and
Yeah.
she basically gets that whatever that thing was like back from the monster or
Hmm.
the monster, the
Yeah, I
whatever it
think it
was.
shows that Hunter. I think it was kind of for Omega to show Hunter, like, listen, I'm not like a helpless child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm one of you guys. I am a Camino clone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just young. Um,
Right.
but if anything, too, she's got the training of a clone and whatever her enhancements or abilities are that is not yet
Mm-hmm.
clear. Um, at this point, I don't know about you. At this point, I am leaning away from force sensitivity. I think it's more just. I think it's more likely that she has like abilities of all of them. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Because
at the end of the episode, the two uh how do you pronounce that? Kaminoans?
Kaminoans, yeah. I don't know.
Kaminoans, they are talking about, all right, this is episode 3, I believe.
Yeah.
When they're talking about like something about Omega and that they only need one to replicate like more clones of the
Mhm.
same way or something like that. And they're
Yeah.
when they say they only need one, you like assume they're talking about Omega, I'm pretty sure, if I recall
Yeah.
correctly. But yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, and I just think I think I enjoyed the episode. I just think I agree with other people that the I've seen all the memes of like R2 were meant to be going up, not down in like the runtime of the episodes and stuff. But I think it's just something that some episodes are going to be more than others. I mean, there's going to be 14 weeks of this. You know what I mean? We're 4 down, so we have 10 more weeks to go. We still have a lot of show
Well, 16.
left. There's 16. Sorry, I don't know why I said 14.
Yeah.
So then we have 12 more weeks to go. So we have 3 more months of the show at minimum. So I think there's a lot of places that it can go. And I think to the people out there that are like, well, it should have been longer, less but longer episodes. Well, but then you're just complaining about the number of episodes again. Look at that's exactly what happened with WandaVision versus Falcon and Winter Soldier. WandaVision was like, why aren't these episodes an hour? And then Falcon and Winter Soldier was like, why is it only 6 weeks? Well, look at the difference in the runtime, people. It's the same runtime, it's just split up different. They're both 6 hours. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Well, WandaVision,
like
I think,
Falcon Winter
ended up
Soldier,
being
you
a
literally
little
just
longer.
split each episode in half. You have literally 12 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like what's the saying? Six dozen or six and one, half dozen the other, right? It's the same thing. It's how it shakes out. It's just all in editing. You know what I mean? They easily could have said Bad Batch 8 episodes. All the episodes are going to be 70 minutes. You know what I mean? They could have said that, but they want to, give a longer show. They don't want it to be super long because you have to remember, especially the animated Star Wars shows, they are also for kids. And parents don't want their kids to have to sit through an hour episode every single week. That's just the reality of it. So yeah, that's my take on that. But the overall episode I thought was very, very good. I'm interested to see what happens with Wrecker's head, as we'll talk about in the next episode. They kind of don't talk about it again in the next episode, but he does hit his head again in the next episode.
He does. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe we might see a theme of that he might get a couple more knocks on the head, and then maybe something will happen. So yeah, do you want to go ahead and move on to the next episode, or do you want? Let's give a star rating of this episode 3.
I give it like a 4 out of 5. Episode 3.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 4 out of 5 as well. Awesome.
So moving to episode 4. I was like looking at the IMDb and this review. Like IMDb does like user reviews sometimes.
Yeah.
This person said Omega is destroying this show. All I could say is that Omega is a disaster. Omega's character is a disaster. Bad design, bad voice acting, annoying and distracting. And I'm one of those who liked Ahsoka right from the start. I mean, that's a bit much. I don't know about the voice acting and stuff like that. She's just English. Like I don't know what to do. There are times where, so this episode, like Omega like gets into trouble, which to people that say like she's just like getting in the way, but at the same time she's also like never been anywhere else except Camino.
It's like imagine you live your life in solitary confinement. Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't really know what you want. Like it'd be weird if this character was not like, what is that? Like what, like everything, like questioning everything.
And also, not to mention in this episode specifically, this one, it's like taking a kid who's lived his whole life in a Mormon village and quite literally dropping him into the streets of New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we're dealing. And also that kid is 6. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
She is so young because we don't know if she has um accelerated aging. I'm assuming she
Right.
does.
Hmm.
Um, so she might even be younger than 6. Uh, but like you gotta cut her a break at some point. I mean, you gotta understand. You gotta if you're gonna complain about the character, you need to understand everything about the character. You can't just say, "Oh, she's getting in the way. She never knows what to do. She's always running off doing all this stuff." She's never experienced anything before at all. Like when she kind of immediately is trusting of the character that we're going to talk about in a second. How do you blame her? She's never met somebody not to trust before until all
Hmm.
this stuff with the Empire went down.
Right.
I don't know.
But yeah, like you said, this is our first kind of Mando crossover with other canon kind of stuff. So we
Mm-hmm.
get Fennec Shand in this episode,
Ming Na Wei.
um, which I was pleasantly surprised to see. So this is kind of I assume obviously like where the episode ends, I would assume we'll see more of her in this show. But yeah, I was
Oh yeah.
really I really was like, oh wow, like we really like, Mandalorian happens after episode 6 and this is between 3 and 4.
Yeah, so I'm
Um
thinking she might be ages slower.
yeah.
Cuz I mean, you always everybody I think at this point everybody just has gotten on board with the whole like characters just age different.
Right. Yeah.
Which I totally buy too because think
Mhm.
about all the different worlds and stuff that there are. I mean,
Right.
for sure. Like I am one that I don't even know if it's official canon or if it's just popular head canon or anything.
Mhm.
But I totally buy the whole people age faster on Tatooine as an excuse
Oh yeah.
for Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen and all them. I totally believe that. There's 2 sons. That's how aging works. You're
Oh yeah, like
deteriorating twice as fast.
how old is Obi-Wan like technically supposed to be? Like if he were not like,
In
Al
episode
Guinness in episode 4. Like from
I
episode
think
3
he's
to episode
supposed to
4.
be 63.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Alec Guinness just looks really old.
Old. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, cuz I don't know when he passed away, but I
Yeah.
think it was like that
Cuz I
was,
mean, you think about um like Mark Hamill is like 65.
Mhm.
Alec Guinness looked like he was like 80. You know what I mean? And granted, I know a
Yeah.
lot of that. I know he had like hair and makeup. Like that's not what
Mhm.
his actual hair looked like. Obviously,
Mhm.
he had like he was balding and had like the gray, like ring of hair. Like so,
Mhm.
I know it was because he was wearing a white wig that when he played
Mhm.
Obi-Wan. But still, even in his face, he looked very old. Um,
Yeah.
but I think age-wise, I think he should be about correct.
Mhm.
Um, because let's see, Obi-Wan was like 40 at the time of. Hang on, this is gonna kill me. I'm sorry. So he was. What was he? He was 19 in Phantom Menace. Plus 10 plus 3. Okay, no, yeah, he was old. He was too old. Um, he should have been 51. I thought he should have been 61.
Oh,
So he should have been
gotcha.
50. So
Yeah.
in episode 4, he should be 51. So
Oof.
in
Yeah.
Kenobi, he should only be 41.
Got ya. Okay. Um yeah, so I'm interested to see uh where Fennec Shang, like how she kind of fits through
Oh, I
from
wanna I
now
wanna
up
talk about
up
it.
up to Mando. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a little bit more of her. Maybe I doubt if they ever did like some sort of like bounty hunter show or something. I think maybe she'd fit in there. You could get some of her backstory and stuff like that. Um, but then the big question, of course, throughout the episode is also like who is she working for?
Boom. All right, that's what I want to
Yeah.
talk about right now because that is my big thing. I've seen several theories online, so I'm gonna go to you first though. Gut, what does your gut tell you? Who is she working for?
I thought it might be the Kaminoans. I think
I
they're
think
trying
it's
to keep
I think it
tabs.
goes deeper than that
Oh, you think it goes
because I
deeper
think
than
the
that? Okay.
Kaminoans are too obvious, but I don't think the
Yeah.
Kaminoans, um,
Who's deeper than that
they
then?
don't leave Camino. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they don't leave Camino very often, so I doubt like Nala Se is going like to some seedy planet to hire a bounty hunter. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So my two guesses, I got two different guesses here. Number one, which I think is the more obvious one, which I think both of these guesses have equal likelihood of happening. Number one, the more obvious one is Boba. So we know Boba is running.
Oh,
We know Boba is running the bounty hunter syndicate or guild, or maybe it's the early stages of bounty hunter
okay.
guild. I'm not sure, because if you remember season 6 of Clone Wars, he's running with Bosk. He's got his little
Right.
team
Yeah.
forming. Bosk, Dengar, at the time Asajj Ventress, rest in pep. But he's got bounty hunters under him. They call him boss. He is, but he might not have the armor yet. Still hoping somehow we see
Still
the whole.
whiny.
Yeah, I'm still hoping somehow we see the fight with him and Cad Bane come back somehow.
Mm.
Um, Maybe you can do it in this show. Now that we got Fennec Shand, if they build up Boba Fett, that kind of thing, maybe we
Mhm.
can end up seeing that in this show. Like, I know we talked about that many months ago. Um, that's my first guess. Is Boba Fett? We know him and Fennec have history when it comes time to Mandalorian. Um, and so my second guess is actually, I think it's going to be a secret appearance by Mr. WandaVision himself. I think Dryden Voss could be in
Oh.
this. So you think about season 7, you had that one quick end of the phone call where Maul was talking to Dryden
Maul, yeah.
Voss, and you look at Dippa Balaba and Kanan, right? Their little cameos in season 7. Those
Mhm.
assets take days to make. This is if you want to look up, I got the theory from Star Wars Explained. So Star Wars Explained over there. God, his name is escaping me. Sorry.
Alex Damon.
Alex Damon. Yeah, I was gonna say Adam Damon, and I was like, that's not
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, Alex Damon and Molly Damon over there. Great channel. Check out Star Wars Explained. But he did a video on this where his theory is also Dryden Voss. And I've seen Dryden Voss theory, I think, on TikTok too. TikTok or Instagram, one of the two. But that is actually going to be, that's my personal one. So that's the one that I think is going to happen, only because like you make that character model. That's a lot of work to make that asset. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
Paul Bettany is so ingrained in the Disney family, the Disney Plus family. He's very ingrained in the Jon Favreau world. Paul meet Dave. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the connection is very easy to make. So that's actually who I think it could potentially be, and I think we could see him show up this season.
Interesting.
Only because I think that was a very fan favorite character,
Yeah.
who was really good in Solo. Paul Bettany was fantastic in Solo, and I think if you have a timeline where this character could come back, I think you bring him back. I think you don't.
Mhm.
Star Wars does not waste any threads of character. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna be like, oh, if we're doing a story where this fan favorite character is still alive, that character's coming in. You know what I mean? Like that, they do that all the time. Um, so yeah, that's my uh guess, is that it could be like Dryden Voss working.
Mhm.
Maybe Dryden Voss works with the Kaminoans or something like that. Because I definitely think that the Kaminoans obviously need her back. The only thing that like questions me about why anyone is hunting her,
Right.
if it doesn't ultimately link back to the Kaminoans, is
Mhm.
the Empire doesn't know she exists. Or at least they don't. Tarkin knows she exists. Tarkin's met her, but Tarkin doesn't
He
know
doesn't know
her
anything really about
significance.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then like the bounty hunters, like who would be putting a bounty out on her?
Mhm.
That's the question. Um, so I think it would just, I don't know why yet. I think that's what the story has to tell us. But I think that might be who might be behind it. That's just my guess.
Yeah. That's a good theory. I like that.
That's like my
and
more
then-
out there theory that I'm gonna
yeah.
stick with if I'm right and everything. But I think the
Yeah.
Boba one could be the more likely.
Obviously, it's gonna take like a few more episodes to kind of
Yeah, for sure.
that come to fruition. But
Mm.
and then I also liked in the episode the whole kind of them selling
Echo.
Echo for like
Yeah.
credits because obviously they needed money, which is kind of like why they land where they land is because they need money. Um, I thought that was pretty funny. And they getting the other droids to come fix the ship and everything like that. But yeah, other than that, like, I feel like am I like mistaken in saying that's really all that? I mean, there was like this whole. You obviously have the whole big chase scene. Like, think like Attack of the
Attack of the
Clones,
Clones.
like
Yeah.
Anakin, Obi-Wan, and the speeder chasing down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was that bounty hunter's name?
Zam Wessel.
Zam Wessel. Gotcha. um, so yeah, basically think like that. It's obviously like kind of like a callback to that.
Mm-hmm. Which who was Zam Wessel working for? Jango Fett.
Jango Fett. Yeah, it's very true.
Who trained Fennec Shand? Maybe Jango Fett. I don't know.
They were. Oh, okay. I thought you said he. I thought you were like saying that he did. I was like, oh, what?
No, I was just saying maybe because what does Hunter say? He goes. She's highly trained.
Mm-hmm.
Who trained her? Yeah. She might be working for Boba, but there's no way Boba trained her. She's older than Boba.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah,
that
would maybe that would kind of because you never get a hint that Boba and Fennec Shand knew each other in Mando like before he
previously.
Found her. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe.
I think they're gonna go with that though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's never explicitly said. It's never said at all. I don't even know if it's implied that they knew each other before. But I think that's probably what they're gonna go with. They're gonna because they're gonna build. Okay, they knew each other. They're gonna build that up, I think, in Bad Batch, and then pay it off in Book of Boba Fett. And be like, Fennec, I've known you for a long time. That kind of, like that. Just I don't know, something like that. But yeah, they never actually say it, so they could do totally opposite. They could have never met each other before. But we know Jango liked to keep his, his little bounty hunter gang that he likes to train up himself. You know what I mean? He did that with many different people, exactly like Zam Wessel. So I think Fennec could easily be another one that maybe Jango trained, and another one that she's kind of looking for her purpose in the galaxy now that Jango's gone. Because he did that. He trained up these bounty hunters. He would take a cut of their commission, but it wasn't about that really for Jango. It was more about he takes so much pride in everything that he does, and he genuinely cared about all the bounty hunters that he trained. Like he ended up having to kill Zam because she really, honestly, if you think about it, she was about to turn on him. She was about to tell Obi-Wan and Anakin who it was, and it's like in that moment, you want Obi-Wan and Anakin to find out, but then also now we've all become so attached to like Jango Fett. It's like, no, you can't tell. You can't give it up just like that. Like, what the hell?
You gotta work for it.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get those seismic charges before Obi-Wan can find out. No, but yeah, I think trained by Jango, in my opinion, is probably the most likely thing for her. But in terms of who she's working for currently, I think it could go a couple different ways.
And then lastly, I saw another review on here that was like the Bad Batch can take on full armies, but when they're faced up against one bounty hunter, they just can't seem to do the job. I think they're referring to mostly like when Wrecker just gets his like ass beat in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I did see that,
like,
but also he was like his head already was hurting too.
Yeah,
and like he just seems a little more annoyed, so that could have possibly been it too. I don't know, but also like the move that she uses, I saw, is like a particular martial arts move to specifically, like knock out a larger opponent too. So like it wasn't just like some random throw. It was like a specific name, that I saw because I watched like a 60 Easter eggs or references or whatever it was video on the episode, and they were like, so even though it does look a little easy, like the move is specifically designed for that, and Wrecker was was already currently injured and everything, so it might have just
Mm-hmm.
hit it even more. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, at this point, do you think they're going with the Wrecker's head hurts, something's happening with his chip, or do you think that was just kind of a one-off for last week just to kind of mess
No,
with us?
I think because he said it enough where it's like, if they don't do anything with that, I
It's like,
think
well,
it'd
that
be
was
a
weird.
huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think maybe they just I think maybe they get it out, honestly, in like a few episodes down the road or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they figure out like how to extract it or something like that.
How many more episodes do you think? Well, actually, I'll ask you in a second because I do have one fan thing from Michelle. So she says having Fennec show up in episode 4 just shows that they can throw in just about anyone, any Star Wars. Sorry, just about any Star Wars character from that era that's alive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she then says, now with Fennec showing up, it's really wide open for more cameos, appearances, etc. And she says that she wouldn't be surprised if at some point we got a Darth Vader moment, um, because he would have just become Vader. So with that, I will say in canon, but again, this is comics, and we know that they like to bend those and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In canon, Vader is very preoccupied for like the first 6 months. He's not really dealing with anything going on in the galaxy. He is off on his own quest to kind of to bleed his lightsaber to make it red, and also he's kind of honestly Palpatine
What
kind
is
of
this
sends
in?
him the Vader comics.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I wouldn't know
So
that.
and then Palpatine kind of sends him off, but it's more Anakin is kind of on a little bit of like a soul searching trip for
Gotcha.
like 6 months. He's really not dealing with the broader galaxy. He's dealing with who he is now that he is this thing, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But like I said, it's from the comics, and in this show, we've seen that they can bend that, they can move the timeline around. Also, that's to say, he was gone for months in that comic. That comic took place over the course of months, but it took place over the course of months. We didn't see every single mission. He could have popped back in. I think it's still totally possible for somebody like Darth Vader. Now, this is just talking about season 1. For him showing up in season 1, I think this show in general, I think Vader can show up all the time. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to all the time, but I think if I had to put money on it, like a 50-50 chance, I would lean towards I think Vader would show up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Again, also kind of the character model thing of the asset exists. The Clone Wars version of Vader
Well,
exists. You can use it.
although I guess this wouldn't be because this is really like right after Order 66. Depending how the timeline works, like, do you maybe get an introduction of some of the were the what are they called? Uh, what are like the dudes called with like the sabers and they use them as helicopters?
Inquisitors.
Inquisitors, yeah. Were they like, oh, these are the new like things in Rebels? I forgot, or was it like, oh,
No,
these are
they were
already
around.
things? You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah. Because
mean?
remember,
Okay,
they were in. There was already at least 12 of them in Fallen Order.
right, yeah,
And
yeah.
Fallen
So
Order
I
is
think
only 6 years after this, right? Yeah,
right. So I think maybe depending on how many seasons they do or how the time passes,
yeah,
maybe you see the introduction of them instead of Vader. It's like you don't want
yeah.
Vader. Like if the Bad Batch is enough of a problem, people are gonna, you know, he would eventually be like, okay, I'm just gonna do it myself because apparently nobody else could do it.
Yeah, and the other reason too that I think maybe Vader would be more likely to show up than Inquisitors is because Inquisitors
Mm.
are specifically
Oh, for
Jedi
Jedi. Yeah.
hunters, yeah. Whereas
Right.
that's why the Inquisitors were put in place was so that Vader could. I mean, Vader in essence, he is the lead Inquisitor. He is the ultimate,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, no offense to the Inquisitor, Jason Isaacs.
Hmm.
No offense to the Grand Inquisitor, but Vader is still the Grand Inquisitor's boss. Um, that's kind of what they're for. The Inquisitors deal with the Jedi so that Vader can deal with other things. So I think we could see either one. I think we could see
Mhm.
the Inquisitors make an appearance and Vader, or just one or the other. I think either one's likely.
And this, of course, Ahsoka shows up again, and then they'd have a
That's
reason,
true.
I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So let's
yeah.
close out on one question here. So we like to ask this. I think we've asked it on every Planet Council. When are we getting Rex? When? What episode do you think? Do you think it's next episode? Think it's a little bit longer of a punt later in the season? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, this episode ended. It didn't have like a cliffhanger or anything, right? It was just kind of like, okay,
No, it just ended
we're
with
off the
Fennec
planet.
like looking up, and then that was it.
Yeah. I think maybe like I think Rex is like an end of season type of cameo. I feel like. I feel like maybe you. Didn't you say like Cody was in the thing or something like that
And what?
in the trailer?
No, remember I thought maybe it would be Cody, but it ended up being
Uh,
Crosshair.
okay, never mind
Yeah.
that.
The only
Yeah, I
thing that
think
makes me
maybe
think Rex might be sooner is because Rex was in the trailer, like on a mission
right,
with them.
right. Okay, so
So he might
maybe
be.
I think maybe like toward I think personally towards the end because I
Yeah,
just think that's a bigger cameo that you could maybe like leave
hold
off
off
on or
on.
something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
I think I'm gonna go like. I think I'm gonna. You know what? Actually, I think you've convinced me. I'm gonna say he maybe they team up with him. So there's 16 episodes, right? Maybe they team up
Mhm.
with him in like episode. Maybe they're on the way to him in episode 14, and then you get him in episode 15 and 16. That kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like there's only one man that can help us, finish this job. And that man
Right. Yeah.
is Tamora Morrison. Oh wait, we're all Tamora Morrison.
Gotcha.
That man is
Yeah.
Captain Rex.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it might be something like that. I think you might be right actually. Only because you don't want to keep relying on all of these legacy characters over and over and over again. You need to make the Bad Batch their own thing. Um,
Right.
and so I think bringing in Rex super, and that's not to say that I think if Rex shows up this upcoming week that I think that's a mistake. I'm just saying, I just think if he shows up, then I think that should be the only time he shows up for at least a little while. Because I think you need to establish them as being their own thing. But I wouldn't mind Rex having a role in this show like he did in Rebels, where it's like, maybe he shows up in like what in Rebels. What would you say? Maybe he shows up in like 3 out of 5 episodes. You know what I mean? Like 6 out of 10
Mhm.
episodes. Rex was in Rebels. I think he usually took a couple episodes off here and there because he wasn't specifically a member of the Ghost crew at any
Right.
point, but he would always ride with them into battle and all that
Mhm.
stuff. Um, but yeah, so I'm hoping that we see that kind of a relationship form up where Rex never formally joins the Bad Batch, but he does team up with them and go on missions with them and stuff. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like how great would it be in 5 years if we could say like oh, how great was the Bad Batch when that was on? Oh, the Rex season was my favorite one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that kind of thing. That would be so cool. If we get like a season where it's like, all right, he's joining the fight to get this done. Like I wouldn't mind a whole season of this show. I think you go the Grogu route, honestly, with this. I think I hope Omega um is not in like the whole show. Unless they you know what I mean? Like I hope that they it's kind of like Grogu, find a place for her, set her up, and that's genuinely what they
Mhm.
do. Because I would love a whole season devoted to, or the opposite. If she just becomes full fledged, self
Yeah.
sufficient, member of the team, that kind of thing too. I honestly I like the character. Um, but what I'm saying is I would love a season dedicated to finding clones, either turning off the chip or removing the chip or something like that. Because I hope that this show does answer, what happened to Wolf, what happened to Gregor, how many other people did Rex, how many other clones did Rex find and save, that kind of thing. Did the Bad Batch do it as well, or was it just Rex? That kind of stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. What would you say your star rating for episode 4 would be?
Um, Probably like 4 out of 5. Same thing.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. 4 out of 5. All right. So let us know, what did you guys think of episodes 3 and 4 of Star Wars: The Bad Batch? And we'll probably be back. I think we'll probably play it by ear. For the Mando reviews, we usually did 2 episodes at a time. So I think we'll play it by ear. We might be back next week, might be another week. It just depends. If there's not a super ton to talk about in the episode, then we could just do it, double up, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
like we did this time. But we'll let you know. We'll keep you posted on all social medias. You can make sure you check the link in the video description for this wonderful merchandise here. There you go. Little mug action there. And make sure you get subscribed. Subscribe to the channel. But that'll do it for this episode of Planet Council. Again, my name is Sean Monk. You can follow me at Paste Eating Yak.
And I am TJ Cornwell. You can find me at TJ_Cornwell on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of episodes 3 and 4 of The Bad Batch in the comments below. And we will see you next time.
Boom.